Have you ever tried to create a subscription form only to find that your phone input field just won't cooperate? It's frustrating, right? If that's you, then you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into why the intlTelInput library changes the width of your input element. I totally understand how annoying it can be when your form elements don't behave as expected. You're not alone in this struggle. Many developers face similar issues when integrating libraries like intlTelInput with Bootstrap. Here's the specific situation we're looking at. One user recently asked, "Why does the intlInput library change the width of my phone input element?" They mentioned that while the country input takes the full width, the phone input does not. Sound familiar? Let's dig into this together and find a solution. So, what could be causing this issue? The intlTelInput library applies specific styles to the input elements, which can sometimes conflict with Bootstrap's grid system. We'll break it down step by step so you can figure out what's going on. And don't go anywhere. I've got a pro tip at the end that will help you ensure your input fields look perfect every time. To address the issue of the phone input not taking the full width of the form, the user should first ensure that the Bootstrap classes are applied correctly. This can be done by checking the column classes in the form layout. Next, the user should modify the CSS for the phone input. They can add a custom style to ensure that the input field expands to fill the available space without losing the functionality of the intlTelInput library. After adjusting the CSS, the user should test the form to see if the phone input now occupies the full width. This can be done by refreshing the page and checking the layout. If the issue persists, the user may need to inspect the elements using the browser's developer tools. This will help identify any conflicting styles that might be affecting the width of the input. Finally, if all else fails, the user can consider wrapping the phone input in a div with a specific class that enforces the desired width. This can help isolate the input from other styles. Did you know? The first mobile phones were the size of a brick and weighed almost 2.5 pounds. Thankfully, technology has come a long way since then. Now let's look at the answers provided by other users. One user found a solution in the documentation. They suggest adding a specific class to the container to ensure the phone input takes the full width of the form. The class to add is intlTelInput with a width set to 100%. That's it for that answer. Let's take a look at another one. An alternative solution comes from a user who faced a similar issue while using the ng2TelInput package in their Angular project. They found that simply adding CSS to set the width of the input didn't work. Instead, they suggest modifying the intlTelInput.css file directly. By navigating to the specific path in the node modules directory and adding a CSS rule to set the width to 100% and display to block, the input element will take the full width as intended. Let's move forward and look at another answer. An alternative solution provided by another user is to add a simple CSS rule. They suggest setting the width of the intlTelInput class to 100%. This will ensure that the phone input takes the full width of the form, just like the country input. Let's check out another perspective from a different user. An alternative solution provided by another user suggests modifying the CSS for the intlTelInput library. They recommend adding two classes to the intlTelInput.min.css file. The first class sets the width of the intlTelInput to 100%, and the second class sets the width of the iti class to 100% as well. This should help the phone input take the full width of the form. That's it for that response. Let's explore another one. An alternative solution provided by another user suggests adjusting the width of the input element by adding a specific CSS rule. They recommend using the class iti.iti.allow dropdown and setting its width to 100%. This approach works well when the intlTelInput is integrated within a Bootstrap form group. Here's the pro tip I promised. Always test your forms on different screen sizes to ensure they look great everywhere. This one habit can save you from a lot of headaches down the road. And there you have it. Your phone input should now take the full width of the form. Remember, testing and tweaking your styles is key. If you found this helpful, hit the subscribe button for more tips, and don't miss our bonus pro tip on perfecting your forms.